Thank you. We'll be happy to introduce. Name is Tomer, 25 years digital marketeer, 12 years an angel investor. Coming from cybersecurity backgrounds, writing for Forbes and to Cointelegraph about DeFi and the beautiful blockchain industry as a whole, especially about infrastructure. What else can I say? Started as an angel investor of Kima, turned from an angel to a late founder, joined as a late founder to the team, and serving as the CMO of Kima, which we will explain a bit more in a few minutes. And yeah, that's about me in a nutshell. Let's kick it off.
Awesome. Yeah, no, great introduction, and also appreciate you guys joining us today. I know we have so many people in the audience listening in, and yeah, I think a good start would be talk about like Kima. Like, what is Kima Network? Do you want to give us yeah, a high overview of what is Kima Network and what you guys are building?
Of course, we'll be happy to. Just I will ask you guys to do me a favor. If in some point you cannot hear me well, if suddenly you're losing me, I know it happens sometimes on Spaces. So please do ping me even on Telegram, in case you lost me or something. So a little bit about Kima. Kima is a universal interoperability communication protocol. Now it sounds like a lot of mumbo jumbo, so we'll try to simplify actually who we are and what we do. Then Kima is basically the protocol that allows every blockchain on Earth to speak with any other blockchain and allows any centralized application to speak, any centralized ecosystem, you can say, or a system, speak to any decentralized application on a blockchain, and of course, vice versa. You can see Kima as the universal way to allow ecosystems that are completely disconnected and speak in completely different languages and have no way to know what is going on between them as the universal layer that connects and unifies all of these ecosystems together, the centralized and the decentralized ones. We'll give an example of what you can do with Kima. So maybe user zero will get a little bit better understanding about what we're doing that is kind of makes Kima unique. So with Kima, you can speak, for example, between Solana and Bitcoin. You can communicate between Bitcoin and Ethereum to near to ZK Sync, etc., etc., etc. And every blockchain that is connected to the Kima network can basically now speak to all the blockchains were connected to it. And any centralized ecosystem that is connected to Kima, for example, a bank, a fintech application for like a PayPal, like maybe interactive brokers, maybe it's Robinhood, can now communicate with any other who is connected to Kima. So you can see it as like somewhat like the internet for blockchains and to financial ecosystems.
Oh, yeah, that's very interesting. And from a user perspective, what does that mean? Like, for example, I mentioned you can connect to different blockchains, such as Solana to Arbitrum, from Arbitrum to Ethereum, from Arbitrum to other chains that Kima supports. So, what does that look like from a user perspective?
So this is a great question. For a user, what it means. So as you said, basically now that Kima, of course, naturally, connected to Arbitrum, we're selected a partner for this launch as a version of our token, and as great partners for a very long time, who we really enjoy working with. Then connecting Arbitrum to Kima basically enables every dApp on Arbitrum to communicate with any other dApp on any other blockchain, as long as that blockchain is connected to the Kima network. So maybe I should start a little bit with explaining how the Kima app chain, the Kima blockchain, works. So Kima is a unique blockchain that has no smart contracts on it. It has no liquidity on it. It has no users on it. It basically has nothing on it but validator nodes. These validator nodes' sole purpose is to transfer messages and to initiate various actions on other blockchains or applications on the centralized world, the centralized internet world. So let's focus a bit about Arbitrum's connection, for as an example. Let's say that I want to send $100 from Arbitrum now to Solana. So normal bridges rely on smart contracts and on oracles that will tell them what happened and will initiate a transaction. For example, sending 100 USDC on Arbitrum to Solana, meaning I just sent 100 USDC to a smart contract on Arbitrum. That smart contract just initiated a smart contract transaction on Solana to send 100 USDC to the designated wallet. Sounds very, very simple. That's how bridges are working today. They're working and doing this with smart contract, or again, an oracle who resolved it. Both of them are software, and softwares are very, very hackable. They're very vulnerable, and they're the number one targets for hackers naturally, because these smart contracts are managing liquidity on each side of the bridge, right? In order to send you the 100 USDC in that example. So if I manage to hack the smart contract on the Solana side or on the Arbitrum side, I will be able to drain all of the liquidity locked
I
on
think
one
you broke
side or
up.
both of them.
Can't hear you if you're trying to speak.
Can you hear me now? Yeah. Am I audible? Am I audible now? Guys, give me a sign. I'm not sure.
Tomer, are you there? Yeah, if you want, you can disconnect and then request to come back up, and then yeah, let's see if everything works again. Yep, we can hear you.
I already prepared everyone that Twitter Spaces, might, as always, do these funny thingies. So sorry for that. I'm not sure where I got lost. Will you please tell me where the audience lost me?
Yeah, I think you were talking about the smart contracts between regular bridges, right? How they use smart contracts
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
Oracle,
Yeah.
and explain
Okay.
the difference between Kima network and the bridges.
Yes. Thank you. So Um, while sending 100 USDC from Arbitrum to Solana, basically the smart contract resolved the transaction and initiated the transaction on a smart contract on the other side. And I said, as softwares were written by men, or a woman, of course, and every smart contract and a software made by someone can be hacked by another one. It's like a mathematical problem that was created by someone, and on somewhere in the world, or maybe on the next door, there's another person that can solve it and find an exploit and then drain one side of the bridge. So that's now how normal, you can say, bridges are working. That's how the interoperability industry is working with smart contracts and oracles. Problem is, again, both of them are very, very vulnerable. Kima operates in a completely different way. So as I said, Kima is an app chain, which is an application chain built on a Cosmos SDK that it has no smart contracts on it, has no users on it, and has no liquidity on it, and has only validator nodes that are doing actions by making sure that events indeed happened after getting a message on the other side that they need to operate on. So let's send 100 USDC using Kima. So on every blockchain that Kima is connected to, we have something called a Kima relay. You can see the Kima relay as, let's say, your internet socket in your wall. Now, Kima has Kima's SDK and Kima's API, who are basically, you can call it the internet, the Ethernet cable. So once implanted on a smart contract, you are connected to the Kima network. So now after explaining this, let's do the same transaction with Kima. So on the Arbitrum side, I'm going to send 100 USDC, and a smart contract indeed resolved the transaction, initiated the transaction, the transaction was resolved by the network, and 100 USDC have been confirmed to have been sent on the Arbitrum side to the smart contract. Now, the smart contract on the Arbitrum side sends a message through the SDK to the Kima relay on the Arbitrum side, to our Kima relay that sits on Arbitrum. The message says, I got 100 USDC, send 100 USDC to Solana once you confirm. I'm simplifying, of course. The message goes to the Kima network, and now the validator nodes receive the message, and 2/3 of them need to have a consensus after physically seeing that indeed the transaction happened on the Arbitrum side. They need to physically say that indeed it happened. Once 2/3 of the validator nodes actually confirm and see that it happened, they are releasing each of them a shard that is stored on their CPU cores. CPU core is the most secure piece of hardware, guys, as you have on our computers, servers, and whatnot. It's very hard to get there. So each of them releases a shard that was stored there, and now they are forming the private keys that are required to go to the MPC vault on the Solana side and initiate the transaction to send 100 USDC to the Destiny wallet, to the target wallet. So this happened in a completely decentralized manner with no intermediaries and with no smart contracts. So let's go from the beginning. We did not use any smart contract. We sent a message to the Kima network. You cannot steal something that doesn't exist, right? We did not send any money. The Kima network had to physically see that the transaction happened, 2/3 of them. So in order to fake that transaction, you need to hack to all of Arbitrum and fake that transaction on all of the participating nodes. Now, another stage was that we released a shard that was encrypted on the CPU core and stored there, which is the most secure piece of hardware that we have in our computers. Then we needed again to decrypt all of the shards and form the MPC vault's private keys and initiate a transaction. Kima network, the network itself actually initiated the transaction on the Solana side, right? So as you can understand, all of these were theoretically unhackable layers of a process that happened. And we sent the same 100 USDC, and the surprise is that it happened at the same speed almost as if Kima was not there. The Kima network did not do any computation process to resolve any smart contract. The Kima network just transferred the message. Kima operates as fast as a speed of light almost. So exactly like we're having this conversation here on Twitter Spaces in real time, exactly that's how Kima, the Kima network operates. So the only latency was on the Arbitrum side to resolve the smart contract transaction, and then on the Solana side, in an example, to resolve another smart contract transaction. And that's how Kima operates in a completely decentralized manner with no intermediaries in the most secure way known to man today. Basically, too many layers of unhackable stuff that you need to go through in order to steal something here. Now, every blockchain that is connected to the Kima network, that has a Kima relay, have basically this Ethernet socket. So every dApp on every one of these blockchains while having the SDK just plugs the Ethernet cable into the socket and is now connected to the Kima network. This magic is something that never existed before. It's a very unique operation that is exclusive to the Kima network, and something that, due to its uniqueness of the technology, enables the existence of an API for Kima network, which through it we enable the communication with for the centralized world with every blockchain. So you asked how we're doing this connection. Once you're connected with Kima's SDK on your dApp, you're now connected to everything connected on it. So let's say that on the other side, you are, of course, able to connect to HSBC or Citibank. In a completely decentralized manner, you now can connect your wallets directly from Arbitrum to any bank, to any financial application. You can connect your wallet on Arbitrum to Solana. You can connect your Arbitrum wallet to Bitcoin and lock a Bitcoin on the Bitcoin network in order to get a loan on Aave, let's say, from Arbitrum in USDC. But the asset actually stayed on Bitcoin. So imagine that you can enjoy all the beautiful world of Arbitrum, and if you need to communicate with something that happens on another blockchain, you don't need to go anywhere. While connecting to the Kima network through the Kima relay on Arbitrum, you are now connected to every blockchain and every centralized entity to do whatever you want. You don't need to transfer your liquidity. Hell, you don't even need to provide it in order to communicate with anything else on any other connected entity. In a nutshell, it was not in a nutshell, actually. It was a lot of nuts. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, it's crazy how complex it is on the back end, which is good for, security purposes. But man, it sounds really simple to use, right? You mentioned you can you can easily access like the entire DeFi ecosystem on right from Arbitrum to anywhere, like on chain, which is pretty cool to see.
Exactly that. And you imagine that you can do even more cool stuff. So we're speaking about like money transfer, right? When we're discussing about bridges, is always transferring money to money on another side of the bridge. Kima opens a whole new world of interoperability between completely disconnected ecosystems, guys. You shouldn't, and you don't need to only transfer money. Imagine that if you're building now a Kima connected application for PlayStation Network. So you are now able to use all of the NFTs that you have in your Arbitrum wallet actually as game assets on your game that you're playing on PlayStation. And on the PlayStation Network, you can mint your user profile and your achievements and your stuff that you earn in the game into NFTs on Arbitrum. This is complete new level of interoperability between Web 2 and Web 3 that we do not have today, guys. Your government, let's say, if deciding to issue your driver's license now, the government through the Kima network can connect directly to your Arbitrum wallet and just send you your new driver's license as a soulbound token and confirm and validate that it's there on a centralized system, on a completely decentralized ecosystem at the speed of light using Kima. So Kima is the missing link that we did not have until today between the centralized and the decentralized, and all of the decentralized to all of the decentralized. Imagine how cool that is. You connect one SDK, and with that SDK, you can now connect to every blockchain that's now and in the future will be connected to Kima. no special needs, no special integrations. You don't need new audits even. It's the same SDK exactly that you're using to speak with everything. So sky's the limit with what you can do with Kima now. So far, we only discussed about transferring money from one side to another, but no one speaks about the real usage of this amazing technology of decentralization of information and digital asset ownership for old web usage. So it's kind of funny, I always like to explain that if we are in Web 3 already, right? How come the Web 2s are not coming to Web 3? If this is the future and we're the next evolution, why aren't they here? Why don't they adopt this technology? The reason is that they just have no way to communicate with that technology. You cannot create cool stuff with the old world and the new. You cannot migrate it in a simple manner, as we can do today with Kima. So as we see the evolution of the Web3 ecosystem, we see it as Satoshi Nakamoto presenting Bitcoin, first proof of concept for decentralization. And then along came Vitalik and presented Ethereum, right? Smart contracts. Mind-blowing thing, right? Like suddenly we can do if this, then that, else. Smart contracts that are resolving stuff on this amazing decentralized computers network. And now Kima came as the missing layer to connect not only the decentralized and the decentralized, but the decentralized to the centralized. So finally, we can bring that quote unquote old world money to connect with this new world of money, of digital assets, and we actually make them usable. RWAs will not only be a 3-letter trend and a gimmick, they will actually be usable. You can actually have the government to issue your car's title on Arbitrum, and you will then be able to sell it to someone on Solana, and you will be able to actually confirm it with the Ministry of Transportation in that example through one link on the Kima network. No intermediaries at the speed of light. Saves time, saves money, saves us the trouble, and hell, opens a whole new level for creation of applications and innovations of this new web. Back to you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm entirely bullish in this on this because especially with real estate, for example, buying a home is really complex. There's a lot of steps to buying a home. And now that we have blockchain technology, for example, you can pretty much store that information on chain, like the home ownership deed. You can store that on chain, and you can also have a marketplace in which you can sell that home, and then yeah, anybody on chain could purchase it. Or you can also add some abstract to it as well. Like for example, you sign up with a Google email or whatever email you have, right? And you can it generates a wallet, and then from there you can purchase the home on chain. So yeah, I think there's a lot of interesting ideas with real world assets. So yeah, I'm extremely bullish on that area.
By the way, even more than that. So to clarify to those of you that are new to learning about Kima, this is not a semi-custodial or fully custodial service. Guys, your wallets are yours. You don't need to generate a new wallet. So imagine that you connect your Gmail. Google will be able, through Google's API now, to communicate directly with Kima's API with your Arbitrum wallet. You don't need intermediaries. There's no one sits in the middle. There's no custodial service. Your wallet is your wallet. You're not sharing your keys with no one. No one can do anything and touch it, but you connected it directly to Google or whatever you're using through the Kima network. Kima was the protocol that did that communication. This is how revolutionary it is. Imagine that you hold Arb on Arbitrum now, and by connecting your wallet, let's say in that hypothetical example, to your HSBC bank, the bank will be able to give you a mortgage by you staking your ARB on Arbitrum or locking your ARB as a collateral to the bank against that loan. How crazy that is. That's stuff that we do now. Like, you can actually do it. More than that, not even to send it or stake it. Let's say that you're in Bitcoin. Kim has the technology to lock your asset on the Bitcoin side. And after locking your asset on Bitcoin, we are allowing you to get a mortgage, for example. In that example, we're allowing the bank, to confirm that the BTC was locked and you can get a mortgage for that BTC. So it's a whole new level of capabilities that you can say making a smart contracts much, much smarter than what we have them today. And the beauty of it, we're universal. We're completely agnostic to the technology that is being used now and in the future. We're completely agnostic to the asset class. Due to the fact that we're such a unique technological solution, we're like universal now and in the future. So let's say that, I don't know, a year from now, we will have a new big competitor in the industry. Or let's say that the Arbitrum network will have completely revamped and upgraded. Kima stays exactly the same solution. You don't need to change anything. It's like the HTTPS of the blockchains, right? So, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm really excited to see what comes ahead. And yeah, I want to ask, like, well, what are some cool recent developments you guys have been working on towards this like cool interoperability future between the on-chain world with Web3 and traditional world, the world of Web2, and what's coming on the horizon for you guys?
Um, Great and interesting subject to touch also. Interesting developments that we have at the moment. So I will share with you some of our recent stuff that we've been working on that is more unique than just creating, cool way to transfer assets from one side to another. We presented in the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange about 2 weeks ago the ability to purchase an asset using your crypto assets on a chain, on a blockchain, directly to purchase stocks from the stock market through their API. So there were no intermediaries and no brokers in the middle. The Kima network was doing all of this resolved all of the process from side to side. So imagine that by connecting your wallet now to the stock exchange in a certain country, you are now able to buy directly tokenized stocks from the stock exchange and hold them on your wallet with no intermediaries, with no one wrapping something in the middle, with no one doing a synthetic asset, with no custodians. Directly yours, you own it, and you just bought it with your Pepe coins, for example. That's stuff that we already presented. We're also in discussions with 3 governments. We're in discussions, as I'm saying, it's important to mention, we did not sign anything yet, but we're already in discussions with 3 governments to provide the crypto payment rails for the CBDC solutions. So yes, to those of you who are surprised now from what I said, we all knew that is coming. So governments are indeed exploring and shifting towards CBDC issuing. It's just better, it's faster, it's way more efficient, and they are doing so. But they have one huge challenge, and that's how to actually transfer that stuff from the centralized ecosystems, the banks and the fintech applications, to the blockchain, the decentralized world. And Kima is the solution for it to provide the crypto payment rails and the on-off ramp communication between the two. So we're in touch at the moment with 3 governments. And imagine how cool that is. Like, you don't need, the beauty with Kima is you don't need to steal users to any chain in order for users to use the Kima token and our network. Every dApp that is connected to Kima now is basically, all of its users are now users of Kima, but they stay on Arbitrum in our example. So let's say that a dApp on Arbitrum needs to have some kind of an interoperability connection, interoperability action, and a connection to Solana in our previous example. Then the dApp stays on Arbitrum, the users stay on Arbitrum, the liquidity stays on Arbitrum, everything stays on Arbitrum. The users are there. Same dApp, same place. But the dApp sends the messages to the Solana network through Kima. These messages are coming from the users. Every time that the message is being sent, it's being sent with something that I like to call like a stamp. If on blockchains we have gas tokens, so here we have stamp tokens, because these are messages. So every time that the message is being sent, we're sending Kima token as a stamp. All of the users are becoming Kima network users without them even knowing that they're using Kima for the interoperability action. They don't, and they shouldn't care. Like all of us, let's say, are now users of, let's say, Amazon AWS that are hosting the Twitter website. I'm just throwing, of course, Twitter has their own servers, but let's say if it was, then all of us are users now of Amazon AWS, right? We don't even know that we're users of Amazon AWS. We don't know that we pay technically to Amazon AWS. Technically, Twitter in that example would pay Amazon AWS for us to use Twitter. That's exactly how Kima is. We're not competing. We're completely universal. We're peacemakers between all of the blockchains and the centralized and decentralized world. And we are here to unify and unite all of the decentralized, amazing ecosystem into one big, resilient revolution that is now fully infused with fully infusing, the new with the old world through one protocol.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's how we're going to onboard the masses and institutions by, connecting both worlds, and making it easy for them to, to give them options to choose the tech, and being able to easily bring those systems on chain. So, yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting to see that more formulating, in the coming years. So yeah, I'm extremely excited for that. And I also wanted to give you guys an opportunity to share some like recent milestones. I know you mentioned you guys are in talks with a few governments, but which is pretty cool. But like, yeah, well, what are some recent, milestones you guys have had this year so far? Since we're at the end, I think it'd be pretty cool to share some milestones that has happened this year so far.
We'll be happy to, my friends. So first, I want to share the biggest milestone, that we're now getting to, and that's our TG event. So we're having our TG event tomorrow, actually. TGE is finally coming after it has been delayed for a very long time due to market conditions. We're happy and proud to launch our token exclusively at the moment on Arbitrum. And of course, its native version will be live on the Kima network. But basically, again, it's an app chain. So tradability, we of course believe that all of the trading will be done on Arbitrum. So this is a huge thing for us. We had our IDO today on Polka Starter. We had our IDO 4 days ago on ChainGPT Labs, on ChainGPT Pad, excuse me. We're incubated by ChainGPT Labs. And we had it also on DextPad, which is the launchpad, the new launchpad by DexTools. We were honored to be the first token in the world to launch on DexTools' new launchpad, on DextPad. Good friends of ours, amazing team, and we were very happy to be there first. A little bit more interesting news maybe would be something that is more accessible to the general public. We are launching with some strategic partners. Tomorrow we will be trading on KuCoin, on Gate, on Mexi, and on Bitmart at 1 p.m. UTC. We already have secondaries with other launch partners that are also tier one and a halves, you can say. The other one and a halves that we will be launching with, I assume, rather shortly after the launch tomorrow. To traction milestones, we reached over 1 million transactions on our testnet. We had over 800,000 wallets connected to our testnet on Kima, which we're very proud of. Of course, it's testnet. Then, full transparency, guys. We of course assume that about, let's say, 40 to 50, maybe 60% were probably botted by the airdrop hunters. So even if you divide it by half, it's still very, very impressive number. So we are very, very, very excited now to see the dApps that have been building throughout that time with Kima's SDK actually starting to gain some traction in the real world, literally, by utilizing Kima's infrastructure. Most of them, of course, as you can guess at this stage, are solutions that are providing you various payments from the centralized world and the decentralized world, all kind of payment gateways and applications to enable you on and off ramping in a very fast and secure way now using Kima. Important to mention also that we're backed by MasterCard's FinTech Innovation Labs, which is the FinTech Innovation Labs arm owned by MasterCard. We're backed by them, getting us a lot of support with them from them, and very proud of them being part of the ecosystem. So we're getting various opportunities for stuff that is completely cool, and people did not even think to build on chain now. But thanks to Kima, finally these things can come to life. So cannot mention exactly what we're working on, but let's say that very soon the connection between your credit cards would probably be directly through your wallet. So imagine that you're swapping now your card at H&M, and the transaction just happened on Arbitrum and liquidated your USDC or your ETH to fiat automatically by the card issuer. How cool is that, right? So no more intermediaries, no special fees that you need to pay. We're calling it crypto direct payments. So that's some of the cool stuff that we've been doing. Um, and yeah, well, there's a lot of milestones actually. To those of you who want to learn more about Kima, I invite you to write like Kima Network or Kima Finance on Google. Just go to Google News or the first 10 pages. You will find a lot about Kima. I think we had dozens of articles, coming out in the recent year about Kima and the technology. Like really a lot of news. We've done part of the Israeli CBDC shekel challenge, for example, with PayPal and with Brinks, and Fireblocks also participated. So that was also very cool. And yeah, well, there's a lot of stuff, as I said. 3 governments discussing about issuance. I can say that with one of them, already issuance of the home deeds, like your home titles will already be issued on the blockchain, and Kima would probably be the communication protocol used between the government offices and your Arbitrum or Solana or Near or Ethereum wallet. So that's also something that is hyper cool and that we're working on at the moment with them. So that's some of the milestones and progress.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot. I feel you guys are going at it at every angle. And that's really awesome to see because, yeah, you guys are literally making big moves to connect the worlds of, DeFi, TradFi, at a rapid speed. So I'm super excited to see all that come to light. And yeah, congrats on the milestones on the test net. Yeah, those numbers sound really impressive, and yeah, excited for your TGE tomorrow. So yeah, good luck with that. But yeah, is there anything else you wanted to share with the community before we end here? Like, do you guys have a Discord or Telegram where people can learn more about Kima?
So again, thank you for having us today. It was great being here today, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to be part of the amazing Arbitrum ecosystem. We're very proud to have you guys as our, launch chain partner for this event. Regarding our various channels, we have a link tree, of course, that you will find on Google also with all of the links to all of our groups. We have in the Discord, we have Telegram in a lot of languages that you can just basically come and speak native language probably. We support, I think, like 12 or 13 languages now. All of the news are there. Of course, we have our Twitter account that you can see here. You can just follow it. You can see it here in our chats, in this X space. And yeah, I think that that's everything we have at the moment, guys. Thanks so much for having us. I will just announce something that is unique and maybe like a scoop for the Arbitrum listeners. We will be launching tomorrow a liquidity incentivization program, which will be basically a boosting APY program that will be launching exclusively now on Arbitrum to liquidity providers. So not only that you will be earning the very high and generous fees that will be generated during trades at our launch, but they will even be ridiculously boosted for the first 3 months. So inviting the community to come over from everywhere and wherever you are and provide liquidity to the Kima network on Arbitrum. We will incentivize it. We're the ones paying for it. We're sponsoring it. And it was part of a move that we decided to do in order to support our community, the Arbitrum community, and basically to try and decentralize the Kima token as much as possible and not only use these in order to pay various fees to the centralized exchanges. So we took what we originally allocated to get the listings there, and we're just giving it back to the people. So inviting all of you to participate in our LEAP. Kima's LEAP is Kima's Liquidity Incentivization Program, launching exclusively on Arbitrum during our TGE. So looking forward to see you guys all tomorrow on KuCoin, Gate, Mexi, and even Bitmart. Yeah.
Sweet. Well, yeah, appreciate you guys for joining us today. Thank you, Tomer, for coming by and talking about Kima and what's coming up next and all the great things you guys have been building here on Arbitrum. And yeah, wish you guys the best tomorrow on TGE. Thank you, and see you guys soon.
Thank you so much and have a great evening, day, or morning, wherever you are. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow at 1 UTC. Bye, guys. Have an awesome day.
See you guys. Thanks.